Welcome to Live, Let Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Micah and Steve.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to another exciting episode of Live, Let Thrive. I am your host, Stevie Stacks, coming at you from Fort Worth, Texas. And this is episode 303 of your favorite short-term, midterm, long-term rental podcast in the world. And that is Live, Let Thrive, of course. I'd like to thank y'all for hopping on today. It's just going to be me talking about some stuff that's been happening the last, few weeks or so. We've had some great guests come on. Even Micah came back on for an appearance. And it's always great to have Micah. We have so much fun together. We built this thing together. But today is just me. And I'll just go ahead and dive into some topics that I'm going to talk about, that what I've been going through in my short-term and mid-term rental journey. I have some long-term rentals, of course, too, but those are pretty much plug and play. Wouldn't say boring, but I would say boring. But once you learn the ropes to long-term rentals, it gets a little easier. You get to screen people better and get people in there with good credit and with money and good jobs and all that. And that makes all the difference, making all the mistakes at first to learn how to do it correctly, just like with short-term and mid-term rentals. Um, so I'll go ahead and start with oh, well, I am in a position, luckily, to I have a lot of clients that we manage for. And then sometimes with these clients, it comes to the point where they're wanting to kind of jump out of like doing short-term rentals or mid-term rentals, and they want to just throw it back in the market as a long-term rental so they won't have to worry about the fluctuations in profits. And that's the big thing with short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, whatever. Um, Especially short-term rentals, there are fluctuations, and there are, high season, which is over here in Texas, is summertime, holidays, depending on if it's houses, I would say holidays get a lot of bookings, families coming together and stuff like that. But yeah, it just depends on the type of units. But anyways, there's sometimes summertime's, high season for a lot of people that make a bunch of money, and then wintertime's slow, and then springtime's, all right, make good profit. But a lot of people don't like those swings. They like to like lock it in for one rate, they don't have to worry about anything, lock it in for whatever they want to rent it for a monthly, as a long-term rental, and don't have to worry about utilities. They don't have to worry about slow months, because to me, short-term and mid-term rentals I explain it to my clients. It's like the whole 12 months, that's the picture you're painting, right? So you can't just look at it, hey, January, February, I can barely make my mortgage, or I can't, I dipped below what it, takes to pay my mortgage and utilities. And a lot of times I'm like, yeah, well, summer, you made $7,000 or $8,000 a month on these houses, on this house. But I know it dips down in winter, but you got to look at the whole picture, right? What did you make for the whole year? Because that's really what matters. But like I said, a lot of people don't like these fluctuations. So I just want to know, I just want a set price all year. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about making my mortgage payment and all this stuff. And, a lot of people, it's hard. I'm not perfect with money. I'm not great with money, but it's hard to just know, hey, I'll get it in the high months when you make hay, to set aside the money that's going to last you through the slow months. But all that being said, sometimes they just want to hop out. And that's when I've seen, and I've done it a few times. I see an opportunity. Is like, well, how much do you want to rent it for, uh, long term? And the client will tell me a price, and I'll be like, okay, I would like the opportunity to rent it from you long term. Arbitrage it from my client that, like I said, just wants to turn it into a regular long-term rental. And I said, and could I, and I'll, rent it at that rate fully furnished. Is that fine? And Most of the time they're perfectly fine with that because they don't have to move all that furniture out. They don't have to go put it in storage. They don't have to go try to sell it for pennies on the dollar and then get stood up on Facebook Marketplace 100 times because people say they're going to come get it and they don't get it and all that stuff. And but so I'll make an offer. I said, okay, so you're gonna rent it for this price. How about since you know me and I'm gonna take care of it and all this stuff, you know how I operate. Could I get it at at this price? Maybe a little bit of reduced rate. I'm not trying to take advantage of them. I still want them to be profitable, but I just they know that they're getting someone that's good. It's gonna pay. It's got good credit, all that stuff, and like I said, every time they've agreed to it to give me a good price and they've agreed to, get locking it in for a couple years, and they've agreed to, leaving it fully furnished, which is a huge bonus, of course, because you don't have to pay the upfront costs to furnish something, right? I mean, I'm not going to own the furniture when I leave. The furniture's still going to be there. But and of course, if something gets damaged, I'm going to replace it, right? But damaged by a guest or something. So all that being said, I was able to pick up this arbitrage that we've already operated at. And what's a bonus to picking up arbitrage from one of your clients is that you've already test drove it. You already know what how much money it makes a year, a month, high months, low months all together. Like I said, paint the full picture. And you could tell if it's going to be a good investment. Also, you can ask them for the previous years, 12 months of electricity bills and water bills just to get a feel for what you'll be paying, monthly along with the rent. And so that's a game changer too, because you can, yeah, like I said, you could tell if you're going to be profitable or not before you even start an arbitrage. And of course, you could do all the research you want, make a educated guess on on if a unit's going to be profitable. And hey, man, it doesn't always work out. It isn't always. Sometimes you get units that aren't very profitable, and or lose money. I mean, let's be real. If you listen to all the gurus online, yes, every single property they makes them $2,000 a month profit, and they're making $200,000 a month, and they live in Cabo and all this or whatever, Cancun or whatever place, that's the gurus. But I mean, truth be told, in business and investing, sometimes your investments aren't going to produce for you very well, and that's fine. It's part of it. I mean, look at the 80/20 rule. 80% of your properties might be doing great, but there's always going to be 20% that aren't. And the thing is to get rid of those, you know, to tend to your garden, to get rid of the non-producing ones or low producing ones, and then replace them with profitable producing, um, whatever you're investing in, stocks, bonds, real estate, whatever it is. In our case, short-term rentals, and replace them with good arbitrages, good management clients. It works with everything. But so that being said, we were able to pick up this arbitrage from a client, and we already have a 3-month booking in there, a corporate booking at a nice profit. And that's I love every time I pick up arbitrage, I try to already have someone in place that's going to take it, start rinsing it on day one. That's the most beautiful thing, because not only am I minimally out of pocket because I'm renting a place fully furnished, um, I'm also minimally out of pocket because it's the opposite. I'm actually profiting day one, which is that's how I love to set things up. I like to keep my cash over here and growing instead of taking big dips every time for starting new arbitrages or whatever we do. I mean, I'll pay out when it comes to buying real estate, and that's fine. But that was I would say a win, a victory, picking up an arbitrage, which was happened to be from a client. Instead of just losing a client and losing a property altogether, I was able to keep the property and then put it under us, and hopefully and make a make a bit more profit, because I mean, arbitrages are more risk, I think, because you have to pay the monthly rents monthly expenses and the furniture and everything you have to buy. It's more expensive, but it's more profitable than management because management, depends on the client and what you agree on. It could be anywhere from 15% to 25% you charge. And so you can make a few $100 a month, but or if it's a really really producing unit, you can make over 1,000 a month, and that's great. But if you arbitrage in that same unit that's really producing, you can make you make a lot more, two, three, $4,000 a month profit on a high producing house or something like that, and an apartment that you would probably make a couple $100 or $300 management fee. Like I said, low risk, no risk. If you arbitrage that same apartment, you'd probably make $1,000 a month or more, and so it's there's more profit to it, but it's more upfront costs and risk, of course. But that being said, that's my favorite saying right now today, right? That being said, um, another thing that happened was, and I wanted to discuss with y'all, was y'all ever had guests that have a family emergency, right, in the middle of a stay, and this are stays that are like 10-day stays or longer, right? Airbnb stays. So they'll have a family emergency. They're like day two, three, four, five of their booking or whatever it is, and they have to, hey, I have to leave town, family emergency, whatever, fill in the blank reason here, and then they go ahead and they say, could I get a refund for the rest of my days? And it's our policy to to we have our policy. We can't just give out refunds when someone wants to leave our unit early. And we explain it to them in the nicest way, yeah, I'm sorry, our policy states we can't really do that because this place being booked by you, your booking in place prevented us from possibly getting other bookings. But you might want to check with Airbnb, seeing if they can help the situation. And and sometimes they, yeah, I understand. There's understanding guests. And I'm gonna pull up real quick the group that I'm in on host of Airbnb Automated, because I brought this up on the like I was saying, I brought this up on the hosts of Airbnb Automated, a great Airbnb group, short-term rental group to be a part of. It's Sean Rakijic or Sijic. I can never say his name right. Sean, Airbnb Automated guy, is his Airbnb Facebook group, and it's great. Plenty of great information. He'll hop on there. He'll answer your questions too. He's a cool dude. What up, Sean? I'm gonna take a drink of this water right quick. Anyways, I brought this up, and this is my question to them. I said, have y'all ever had a guest go berserk because you won't refund them the remaining days of their Airbnb stay when they cancel because of, in quotations, family emergency? I imagine they are used to getting their way by screaming and threatening people. And so this happens quite a bit. And like I said, not all guests are like this, but it seems to be more and more are like this. And here's how it usually unfolds. That they'll be like, "Hey, family emergency. Could I get refunded the rest of my days that I'm not going to use?" And then and we say, sorry, we can't do that. You might take it up with Airbnb and explain the situation to them. And then here's a few scenarios that if they're an experienced host and they've done this before to people, and which I think that happens a lot, they'll just go ballistic right away. They'll start screaming, or in their, or just sending threatening messages saying, "How dare y'all, your company this and that, I'm gonna go." And they start threatening they're gonna, blow us up in the reviews, which is great. You want to be threatened. A bad review that always gets rid of any kind of review they leave behind, that because you go to the messages and say, "Hey, Airbnb, look, they threatened us to give them their money back, or they're going to leave us a bad review," and their bad review gets lifted. Or they threaten to, of course, blow up our business on Google or whatever sites out there they can complain about us, and so it's just they start going ballistic right away, demanding we give them a full refund or else. And these are the ones that the difficult guess. And so, or if they're new to asking for money back, they'll say, okay, I'll reach out to Airbnb. And of course, Airbnb is going to send them back to us and say they're the ones that have to approve a full refund. And so they'll come back to us and say, hey, Airbnb said y'all can do the way they word it. Y'all can do the refund for me. No, we can't do that, and we can't cancel your review. Only you can. I mean, you can't cancel your stay. Only you can cancel your stay. And like I said, if we cancel your stay, it's gonna be bad for us, and it is. It's bad for hosts to cancel guest stays. Of course, you get blacklisted by Airbnb and all that. Plus, have to pay out their I don't know. There's a lot of stuff, man. You got to pay out the relocation fees and stuff like that sometimes. But so once they go ballistic on us and this and try to get the days filled, now if they're here's the thing, man. If people would only be cool and like maybe explain the situation to us, we're understanding too. And we explain that, listen, we're a business, and if we just keep giving everybody their money back, of course we'll be out of business. There's got to be a common ground, and I'm cool with common ground, and this is a hospitality business. I'm cool with helping people out when I can. So if they're cool with me, if they're cool with us, like I said, the team handles all these situations now. I'll jump in and I'll observe, but if they are cool with us and they treat us good and they say, hey, listen, this happened, it'd be great to somehow get a full refund if possible. I understand, and a lot of them are cool. Like I said, I understand your business, and then I understand you have your policies, but if you could, any bit would help. If they come with us, hat in hand, just being cool, we'll work with them a lot of times, and a lot of time, and this is our response to people that are being cool like that. Will say, sorry for whatever's going on. Here's how we can help. We can't just give full refunds to people or refund the rest of the days because of these reasons, but go ahead and cancel. And if like those remaining 5 days or remaining 10 days, whatever ones get filled, we can refund you for those days. And cool people are a lot of, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, yeah, blah blah blah. And then some of them will follow up. Some will forget to follow up. It just happens. It's life. But some of them will actually follow up after that time period and say, hey, did anybody book? And I'll have a virtual assistant, or a virtual assistant will go look. Oh yeah, yeah. 3 of those 5 days got booked. We'll send you that money now. Boom, send them the money. Sell it or whatever you do, and that's it. And they, like I said, you act cool and you treat us good, we're gonna treat you good. But you come screaming and shouting and threatening us and threaten to ruin our business and put us out of business and all whatever, these some people go crazy. Yeah, we're not gonna work with you. We're gonna just report abuse, report harassment on Airbnb. And where we tell our virtual assistants, once they start doing that stuff, do not respond. Do not respond at all anymore. Send it to Airbnb, report abuse, harassment, and all that stuff, and let them sort it out. And so yeah, like just being cool with people, you get cool results. That's just life. But like I said, if they come at us like that, then it's not. We don't work with them. We shut it down immediately, and let them cancel, go about their way. And if they leave us a bad review, we'll get it removed because we have a good team in place that can get these bad reviews, unfair reviews removed. So that's what I brought up to the to the host of Airbnb Automated. I told him about the story, and a lot of people had this, I would say 99% of the people sided with or were positive towards my company's response, my team's response. There's always that one person that's like, oh, you have, how could you not give them their money back? You're a hospitality, start going, one of those, you could tell they were teachers' pets when they were, um, in school. But, and then of course, everybody, it starts like a flame war, as they said back in the day, and people start blasting her. Because girl, person, you don't. What are you talking about? You can't just give everybody their money back with any story. I mean, business doesn't work like that. You don't go book 2 weeks at a nice hotel and say, "Oh, I'm leaving a week early. Give me my money back." Sorry, brother. You booked 2 weeks. Anyways, so that was one topic I wanted to talk about. I was going to read some of their responses, but man, there was a lot of responses on this. Um, there's we do mention travel, and when we're talking to people that they're inquiring, one of our automated messages brings up the traveler's insurance and saying, if we see you're booking for 10-day stay or whatever, you might look into Airbnb offers travelers insurance options in case something comes up. And so we tell people about these options before they book, just so they know. I'm sure a lot of them might know already, but they don't want to spend that extra, I don't know how much it costs, 50, 60, $100 to insure a $2,000 stay, which to me it seems like a no-brainer. But that's just me. A lot of people want to save that money and not do it. And then especially the people that had been successful at pressuring hosts to give them their money back or else. And there's a lot of hosts that I think they cave to that. And so like I said, they're successful at it and they try it on a seasoned veteran like us. Like hey, back in the early days, I probably would have caved too. I would probably would have caved too. I don't want no trouble. Please don't ruin my superhost status. I'll give you your money. I'll do whatever you say. But but I ain't like that no more. And I tell my team not to be like that either. We stick to the book, and then we go from there. Um, so that was one thing I wanted to talk about. I was also going to talk about going full corporate. I I've gone full corporate at some of the condos, for example, and because these condos started enforcing strict HOA rules, right? And so they started throwing out threats that they'll fine us for doing it at condos where previously I mean, there was a lockbox on every single condo in the place, and all of a sudden they just start cracking down and enforcing rules that might have already been there. So that being said, of course, I said it again. The 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 ones where I've been forced to do strictly corporate, knock on wood, they've been like really kicking butt because I'm not just filling them with these little bitty Airbnb stays anymore, which inhibit me to rent them out as corporate for a high monthly price for 3 months at a time most of the time. And so I always worried about the gaps, filling the gaps. So I was like, I gotta stay on Airbnb. I gotta have it listed for short term there, plus have it out there on the corporate channels. But now, man, I'm really changing my tune, and I've got a few houses that I do corporate at that I in this cities that you need to get a permit and all that stuff. I mean, as long as you're doing 30 days plus, it don't matter. You don't need a permit. And I've picked up arbitrages to do short term and midterm, and with the intent of getting this permit. But like I said, a lot of times, day one, I'm getting this place up and ready. A request comes in for that city, and I have a place that's almost ready to to rent, and I send them pictures. I send them pictures to the corporate housing providers of the place. I'll do like a walkthrough. I'll send them pictures how it's looking. It's not even ready yet, It's not even got all the furniture in it yet. And I said, well, we got this house. It'll be ready on this date. I know y'all want to move it ASAP, but can y'all wait like 3, 4, or 5 days till we go ahead and have it finished and up and ready? And a lot of times, if they don't have any other options because people's calendars are littered with little bitty Airbnb stays here and there, and or they already have a corporate or whatever, they'll be like, yeah, yeah, can they look at it? They'll even look at it in that condition. And yes, we like the place, we want it, so we have like a 3 month, sometimes a 6 month stay before we're even finished furnishing the arbitrage. And so like I said, I picked it up with the intent to get the permit to do short term because I was worried about, well, I got to fill in the gaps at least before in between these corporates. But I'm like, I'll put in a request for to do the tour for the permit and all that stuff. I'll pay for it and everything, and then I'll tell the code enforcement officer or whatever. I'll say, hey, I know I put in for a request to do a tour and all this stuff, and they're asking me when do I want to do the tour. I'm like, man, I got a 3 month booking. I don't need to do a tour right now, and if or 6 months booking. If and besides, if I do one right now and you approve it and I get a permit, that sets the clock for 12 months. The permit's good for 12 months starting today. Even though I have a 3 month booking or 6 month bookings, I don't need to do short term rentals for that time period. So it's just kind of like wasting money. I said, can you come back in 3 months? Can you come back in 6 months? And if they're cool, they'll work with you and they'll do that. They'll come back and excuse me, and tour it whenever that happens. But I'm like, I'm really considering just doing 100% corporate, even in places where I can do short-term rentals, Airbnbs, because there's such a demand for it right now. And that's just it's mind blowing. Like I said, the ones that I'm handicapped where I can't do short-term rentals, I'll land these big, juicy corporate bookings at. And I just like, why am I doing Airbnb? Why am I doing why am I It just I've always done Airbnb. I've always done Airbnb. I've always done VRBO, which VRBO you hardly get it that many bookings. I don't know. There's a few unicorns out there, a few VRBO superstars, but they're few and far between because most of the like 90%, 99% of the bookings come from Airbnb and for short-term rentals. But man, this corporate thing is so sweet that I'm just considering just going full corporate at most of my places and not even bothering with Airbnb anymore, and maybe just or maybe have it on Airbnb, but at a high price and at a 30-day minimum. I'm sorry, yeah, 30-day minimum stay just to get the exposure. Um, and I was gonna talk about uh, home buying for corporate. That was another thing. I'm in the process of looking to buy more houses. And people say, well, always run the numbers to make sense as a long-term rental, and that's fine. And to me, it's like, will it break even or even lose a couple $100 as a regular long-term rental? Uh, I'm cool with that because you get the equity, depreciation, appreciation, all that fun stuff, tax breaks. But to me, I'm like, I'm not afraid to fill it with if it's with the right property. I'm not afraid to fill it with furniture, and then rent it out as a corporate rental, um, because I kind of know what I'm doing. I'll admit that I kind of know what I'm doing, and I've been making great money for me and my clients. So I'm not afraid of turning it into a corporate rental and trying that route. Um, like I said, at any time a city can ban short-term rentals. That's a gimme. 30-day plus stays. I guess there's certain cities, a couple cities, not a lot of them. There's San Francisco and stuff is kind of cracking down on that on 30-day stays. They're trying to, I think they raised it to like, what was it, 6 months at a time or a year? It might have, man. It's craziness. But there's always, there's it's less risk that corporate rentals are going to be banned altogether. Hopefully not, but because they help so many people, the insurance companies got to put these families in places because the houses that they build here, and let's just keep it real, the houses they build in the United States compared to what I've seen in other countries are not the best quality. They're built out of wood, and they're built with not the best stuff. Like you go to Europe, or you go even Mexico, South America, they build them out of cement and brick, and these things can like survive hurricanes and stuff, tornadoes, whatever. Houses that we build here in the States, they're not the best quality, and so people always have issues, and we pay a bunch of money for insurance, and the insurance needs to put these families somewhere whenever incidents happen. So I don't see these cities getting rid of corporate. And like I said, knock on wood, anything can happen. But I do run my numbers when I'm going to buy a house with corporate in mind. Short-term rentals, no, I don't run them with short-term rentals in mind. It's too risky, too much fluctuations. Now, like I said, you're online. If you're listening to me, you probably follow a few of these gurus out there on IG or whatever, and they're making these badass places with indoor swimming pools and golf courses and pickleball courts, and those are designed to be short-term rentals. They're not designed for a corporate client. It'd be a lucky ass corporate client if the if their insurance company is going to pay $20,000 a month for a place like that. But for the most part, they're just going to put them in a home similar to theirs. But like I said, so there's the stuff you see on the IG is, it is so cool. I love it. I'd love to have one of those. I'd love to, make one of those really cool, with all the bells and whistles and tennis courts and pickleball courts and everything, swimming pools. But that's not my, that's not my forte. That's not what I'm trying to do right now. It'd be cool to have one, but I love the cookie cutters, nice houses, newer, modern. They're gonna look great with furniture, with nice furniture. They're gonna look great they're gonna take some great pictures, have some cool amenities there. I don't need a swimming pool. It'd be cool to have one, I guess. I don't know. It's a lot of upkeep, but I don't, it's probably not the best practice for a corporate is to have a swimming pool. Um, Anything that eliminates headaches, if I had a little miniature golf course or I had pool table. I've had different things that would be great for short-term rentals. They might not be great for corporate because then you gotta worry about fixing those when they break or tending to them or upgrading them or downgrading whatever it is. To find out what you like to do. Now, if you like to build little miniature Disneylands at your Airbnbs, that's cool. That's great. It's gonna cost a crap ton of money to do it. These guys are putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into these big, beautiful homes, right? Of all these amenities because they're up in the game, up in the game, up in the game every year for what people want in an Airbnb. And I choose not to compete with that because I'll get my ass kicked probably. And I'll lose all my money trying to build one. But cookie cutter, 3 2s, 4 2s. I like 4 2s better. You get an extra bedroom, which could be versatile, could be a bedroom or office. Or even a 5 2 if they exist, if you can find one. But that's what I'm looking for. That's my bread and butter. Cookie cutters look good furniture, comfortable place for a family to stay for 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time, however long it takes to fix their home. Um, and that's what I do. But if you do something different, that's fine. I mean, more power to you. But I found out what I'm good at, and it is corporate rentals. And I just want to like hone in on that, learn as much as I can on that. And we all of our places are freaking booked, and we get so many requests that we can't accommodate. And so that's a good problem to have. That's a great problem to have, and I think thank God for that. So I think that's pretty good. Covered a couple topics. There's a few more topics here. Um, your pricing. We'll talk pricing on the next episode because the pricing is important. It's high season. I hope you've gone into your dynamic pricing apps and raised the prices for high season, unless you have it already automated where you identify what summer is and you identify what winter is because like I said we're here in the North America is different than South America or whatever. It's opposite, but you identify which your seasons are, or you go in and manually change it and raise your prices for the summer and or winter. I mean, if you're in the mountains, whatever, the snow, and people go there for winter, then that's when your high season is. But be mindful and go in there. And I've been tinkering with prices because you got to because you leave a lot of money on the table if you're not priced right. Talking short-term rentals here. Because we do manage a lot of seeing one bedroom units that really don't do. I mean, they get a few corporate stays or they get some travel nurses, but not really what I'm looking for, like in houses. But yeah, be sure to tend to your garden, go check your pricing, and have it high for this high season. If you're here in North America with us, that's high season right now. Everybody's out of school, all the families are traveling, so be sure to have your prices up on there. And Yeah, that's all I got to talk about today on this episode 303 of your favorite short-term, midterm, long-term rental podcast. Heavy on the midterm, heavy on the corporate podcast in the world. Live, let, thrive. Follow us, hit me up, Gmail, liveletthrive@gmail.com. Send me an email. Say hi, Stevie Stacks. Say hi to Micah too. He's still on the emails. Text me. Leave my phone number on the bottom there. If you have a question, I'll be happy to help. And if you'd like some management, my company, Argis Rentals, we can help manage for you. If you have a place, even if you have a place that you can't do short-term rentals, but you think it'd be a good corporate rental, hey, that's me. I'm a freaking corporate guy. I love corporate rentals, and I could really diagnose it for you and see what I think it could make. Sadly enough, Airbnb ain't too much help in the corporate rental realm. So, but Stevie Stacks DNA could help tell you if it's going to be a profitable corporate rental or not, and I can give you my suggestions, or I could even manage it for you as a corporate rental and try to make you some big bucks. So thank you for continually. See, I always screw that up. Continuing to follow us and share the episodes and all that fun stuff. Thank you so much, and good luck in your short-term, midterm, long-term journey, and we will chat at you soon. Peace out.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.